Hello and welcome to Elite on the Commodore 64, and well, I finally get around to reviewing this. Probably not really necessary, as I think most people know Elite, but you can see the game uses wireframe 3D graphics with hidden surface removal, so you don't see the it's not a sort of pile of messy, jagged lines like a lot of 3D games are, vector graphics games are. So it's quite cleverly done from that point of view. In fact, everything in the game is quite clever. So let's get started. You can see it came out '85. Now this is the 64 version that came out '85. The original BBC one came out in '84, and David Braben and Ian Bell did the 64 port themselves, as it has a similar processor to the BBC. Unfortunately, the BBC processor runs a bit faster, so the 64 version is clearly not as fast as the BBC version, but it's still reasonably fast. Let's get started. So this is a space trading game, where there's also elements of combat and exploration, so it's quite a lot of scope in the game, and it should interest most people, I think, really. There should be something for somebody here. So you start at a lab station with 100 credits, and you can get information on the system. It tells you all about it, famous for its vast rainforests and the lavian tree grub. But more important, it tells you what sort of economy it is. So rich agricultural, so you know agricultural products will be quite cheap here. And depending on the type of government, if it's an anarchy, then there can be quite a lot of bad guys, pirates floating about trying to loot your ship and destroy you. Tech level, well, it's a good indicator of what sort of things you can buy for your ship. If you go to the, I can't remember what it is, the equip screen, it's quite poorly. It's quite a poor offering here, and there's not a lot you can buy. But if it's got a higher tech level, you'll be able to buy more things. At the minute, we don't need to buy anything here. We can't afford it, most of it anyway. We don't need any fuel, and missiles, I think, we're reasonably stocked up. You can't have more than 4 anyway. So what we'll do is we'll come out of that, we'll go to the market screen, and we'll buy 16 tons of food. And we won't buy anything else. What we'll do is we'll launch a ship. Right, you can see the planet effects are quite simplistic. If I press F3 to go to the rear view, see a space station we've just left. They all look the same in this version. Now I've seen some reviews on the web that say they compare the BBC version to the 64 one, and say that the planets are very simple and they just have simple circles. But actually, if you pause the game and press P, then unpause, you can actually turn on the planetary effects. It just shows you the planet spinning, really. They do slow down the graphics a little bit, and because the graphics are quite flickery, they can be a bit annoying. So you can turn them off again using the same method. But they do exist on the 64 version. I prefer just to have them off. They don't do much for me, but they do exist, contrary to some reviews I've seen. Right, so we're just outside the space station, so we better get away from there before a ship crashes into us. We'll set course. We'll go to the LEESTI section. You can bring up information on it before you go there. So it's a poor industrial, but doesn't matter. We'll go there anyway. Yeah, I briefly brought up the galactic chart here. You can see you can visit every single one of these star systems, and you see the circle there. That's the oops, what was that? I think I may have flew into a ship. That's fine. I think what we'll do is we'll warp to we'll press the hyperspace and we shall travel to the LEESTI system, and here we go. Yeah, so as I was saying, you can travel to all these. There's a circle here, shows us the range of our hyperspace drive. Obviously, we've just warped, so we've used some fuel, so it's gone down now. We can't leap more than 7 light years. So what we'll do is, if you look at the radar screen, there's a little indicator, and that indicates the correct orientation to line up with the planet. So here we go. Each system's just got one planet. It's a fairly simple simple model. You basically do the same thing over and over. You just the game basically has different. It has a section where you travel to the planet, and then subsequently to the space station. Then there's a bit where you do your trading and whatever, and you pretty much do the same throughout the whole game, with a bit of combat thrown in between. So even though it seems like quite a complex game, the actual gameplay itself is not that complicated. There's not really too much to it. What we can do is we can hold down the J key to jump. That just sort of skips us on a bit. As soon as something comes in range, we stop. This is just an asteroid, which I think we can destroy just because it's a hazard to navigation. We'll get a couple of credits maybe. Yeah, well, yeah, probably get a credit for that. Just that shows our total. So we're still at 42 credits. And you can pick different views, rear view, left, right. So the controls are quite simple. Just up, down, roll, left, right. Control your speeds. That's it. That's really the controls, and just fire your lasers. There's different types of lasers. We've just got the standard pulse laser. You want to upgrade them as quickly as possible, really. Again, you can turn on the. I can turn on the planet effects. You can see this has got a sort of bit like Death Star. It's got a big circle going around it. I do find them a bit annoying, so yeah, I'll turn it off. Yeah, so you can get the market prices. So you can see we bought these for 3 point something or other. So we'll almost double our profit, really, double our money. Or if we spent 60 credits on it, we should get maybe another 60 back, plus the original 60, hopefully. And that's the game, really. Just a bit of trading to get your money up, a bit of combat as well. Doesn't go amiss. It's best to, well, hopefully you don't come into too much combat until you can arm your ship a bit better. But what we're doing, we're waiting for that little S to appear. It's just appeared now at the bottom right of the scanner, and then the indicator just tells us which direction to fly to get to the space station. Now this is where a lot of players give up on Elite, is the docking, which is not too easy to learn. I'm still not that great at it, to be honest. The first thing I did was buy a docking computer. Yeah, I'm not too hot at the docking, I've got to admit. I never actually owned this back in the day. I played the Amiga version more, to be honest, but I've started to play the 64 version over the past few weeks or so, and I've got reasonably far in it. I've got my ship reasonably equipped. But and the way to make progress in the game, because there isn't really an end to the game, but the way to make progress is to the more, I think it's really based on your number of kills, your combat kills. So it's really a combat rating, but it says rating harmless. Then it'll go to mostly harmless, and so forth. And the aim of the game is to get a rating of elite, which I think you've got to get something crazy like 6,000 kills or something. I don't know, it's something ridiculous. You'd have to play the game for a long time to get there. And what you do is you can save your progress. Once you get to the station, you can save. And that's it. You only get one life, obviously. That's just, if you lose a life, you just reload your last save. Or I think the game just saves it anyway, yeah. So we're approaching the station. So I think the graphics are actually a lot better than I remembered. I remember them being quite slow, but they're not really that slow unless there's a number of ships on the screen. That doesn't happen too often, because you know, if you don't, if a number of ships attack you, then you've got to really. I can switch to the right view. I'm not lined up very well. Yeah, if a number of ships attack you, then you've really got to start taking them out before they create too much mayhem. I think I'll lay myself out a bit better. I think the easiest way is just to sort of align yourself with the planet and travel towards the planet a little bit. That's not too bad. You can see there's a ship coming out. Well, no, it's just a bit of dust. But ships do come out and go into the station, so there's a bit of sort of pattern of life, you know, everyday life. It's not just you. I'll do it. Yeah, it's not just you in space. There's other ships flying around, and you know, it gives the impression that there's a wider universe out there. And what we'll do is now we'll just sell our foods. So we'll sell that. Okay, so we made 38. We didn't make a lot of money. I thought we'd make a bit more, but once you can buy a larger cargo hold. So this is a higher tech level, I think, society. So you can see we can buy much more for our once we get the money. That is, but you've got to do a fair bit of trading first. You're probably best buying a larger cargo bay first, and buy a beam laser. Fuel scoops. They're also used to scoop up, if you shoot ships, they leave behind their cargo, so you can scoop up more than just fuel with them. And same with mining lasers, you can mine asteroids, and that's another way to make money. There's different ways you can play the game. I mean, it's fairly open-ended, and everything about the game is very clever. Even though it looks fairly, I mean, I quite like the design of all these screens. They are very simple, but they're very sleek. It's very sort of simple and you know, very clear. Right, so that's Elite for you. What can you say? I mean, I'm tempted to rate it down a little bit because it's clearly not as good as the BBC version, if you've played that. And to be honest, I prefer the Amiga version. But we're just judging it as a 64 game. I mean, there's nothing really like it that comes close on a 64. You know, that can offer quite the same experience. So on that grounds, I'll give it 10 out of 10. It's not difficult to master, but it's terms of getting into the game, I don't think it's that difficult. But it'll take you a long time to get to Elite. And to be honest, I think what you get out of these games is, it depends on if you like sort of grinding away to get money. The 3D is okay, it's not as fast as the BBC version, but as long as there's not too many ships on screen, it's reasonable. It's a little bit of flicker, but I don't think that would have been quite as noticeable on the old CRTs back in the day. And sound effects a bit simple. Could have been a bit more of that, I think, but it is what it is. So, yep. So 10 out of 10 for Elite. Not exactly a shock, I think, to most people. And see you in the next video.